cheers to episode 128. Oh, no.
Cheers.
Are you good, Evan?
Yeah, it's just the episode 28. Like, well done. Keep the browser tab open while we upload your high quality recording.
What? 1, 2.
It's the Riverside. It's Riverside.
Happy birthday, Grant.
Grant.
That was perfectly in sync. Thanks, guys. It is my birthday today.
Yep.
26 years old.
Thanks, guys, for coming in.
Yep. Thank you. Go get a Grimace shake.
Yes.
Let's see. We last recorded Tuesday, July 25th. Today's Sunday, August 6th, 7:29 p.m. on the East Coast. Welcome into listening to the number one sports podcast in the state of Michigan, your one-stop shop for coverage on every team. As always, we are going to do our weekly check-ins of what's been going on in our life. Then we're going to talk about some football. Evan, what's that coming? Oh, you're fine. A little feedback. Felt a little feedback.
You
there,
hit something.
I think you're good now.
I hit something?
Don't touch a single thing while you do this show.
Like you're in one of those mazes, like in Kim Possible, when there's lasers all through the room and you just can't touch it. As long as I think you don't bump any cords, you should be good.
I'm sitting here perfectly still the entire time.
Great posture. We're going to talk about what's happening in our lives, some football. Detroit Lions training camp is rolling along. A lot of storylines, some drama, some intriguing storylines. Then we have to talk about the Tigers briefly, Alex, about the trade deadline.
I don't have to.
Good opportunity for you to rip the team even more, even though we just supported them on Friday. So we're kind of frauds for that. And then lastly, Michigan State football. We're going to do a little bit of offensive preview, as well as some miscellaneous topics about both teams and also the Big Ten as a whole. I thought I have some questions for you guys about that. Without further ado, how do you think, since we just saw each other today, actually, do you guys think we should just work backwards in terms of our recap and talk about our weekend and then if any other notable things have happened since?
Yes.
So to set the stage, Alex, Evan, and listener Cody with a K came up on Saturday for some golf. We went to Blackheath Golf Club. We'll give them some pub because I think overall we had a fun time. Near disaster, kind of their fault. They don't sell alcohol there. This is a wild.
Now, kids, you don't need alcohol to have fun playing golf. But
yeah,
you kind of
that's right.
But it certainly helps.
I was gonna buy a C4 energy drink and chug it, so I just to feel something on the course. If there was no, that was my backup plan. I mean, I don't think you knew that, but there were C4s.
You might have an issue, Grant.
Well, I just wanted to, some excitement. I was like, I'll just drink this pretty fast. So we get there. European link style kind of reminded me of the open course at St. Andrews, I would say, if you're going to compare it to something.
What a fucking wild comparison.
Evan got mad at Alex off the jump because Alex was calling him. He thought it's because he was late, which is hilarious looking back at it.
That's not why I was calling him.
But not going to shout anyone out by name because I want them to keep their job. But basically, we got the wink that if we supplied our own alcohol, that it'd be okay on the course. Shout out to Cody K for asking that question. Shout out to Alex for going and getting it right before our tee time. I think he pulled into the parking lot at like 1:21 with the 12-pack of Busch Light and Fireball, and our tee time was at 1:22. So we stuffed that in the bags, got out there. I guess we're incriminating ourselves, but it really doesn't matter because we already played the round and had a good time.
It's the worst thing that happens. You get banned from Blackheath Golf Club.
That would be devastating.
The pro shop smells like devastating.
They had rotating hot dogs, bologna shop. I had fun. I don't know about you guys. I don't want to toot our own horn, but I think we'd all agree we played pretty good golf as a group of four.
Yeah, I'd say we did. The first few holes, we did not play good golf as a group of four, but we were very rushed.
Yeah, Alex, he did shank one early. I remember that. I was like, "Ooh, Alex is
my
still
second
rattled.
Shot of the day, actually,
from his booze run. He's rattled still."
Yeah, but no, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
what happened from that? Oh, Alex and I need to settle a debate that we're having. Apparently,
it's not a debate. It isn't a debate.
I owe Alex $1, technically, but for the golfers out there, you can imagine with my ignorance to the game of golf, if I'm
no one's going to side with you.
I know, but I want them to understand where I'm coming from. So when you tell them Grant was trying to cheat, I just simply didn't know. Alex offered a chip off on a hole. We rode like 3 feet from each other off the green. We were in the rough cut, right? Not the fringe.
Yeah, yes. Rough cut.
And I was like, yeah, I'll do closest to. I duffed mine short. I landed in the fringe cut. And he goes, I take direct deposit for his $1 win. But he proceeds to skull his chip well past the pin.
It was not a skull. Either way,
Evan,
continue.
It was a skull. It felt like a skull.
A skull would not have stayed on the green. It wasn't a good chip, but a skull would have been off the green.
A better way to say it. So his was still on the green, but their distance from the pin was probably pretty close to the eye. And so I was like, oh, it's a scratch. We're good. We both stunk. And I was like, no, you're not on the green. I was like, well, it's closest to the pin, and we're about equal distance close to the pin. Apparently in golfing society, you have to be on the green in a chip off to even qualify. So I guess by the letter of the law, I do owe Alex $1. But on the course, I decided that I told him I wasn't going to pay him. And I think it got under his skin a little bit for the rest of the round. I would say that's fair.
It was just bad principle by you. Yeah, I agree.
I do appreciate my partner, Cody, knows all the golf rules. He was in the bunker, wasn't he? He's like, let's just call it a scratch. That did make me laugh looking back. We have to shout out him. Some of the most insane up and downs I've seen.
Yeah, he did.
I don't
crazy ones.
I don't play with Cody a ton. I know he's
that
really
is not
good.
Common practice. He doesn't do that every time.
It kind of felt like that's just his game, that he's just going to make absurd up and downs from ridiculous places on the golf course.
He does make a lot of up and downs that are crazy, but the level of which he was doing in the stretch of 4 holes, then that does not happen.
And then we left and we went downtown Rochester. Fun spot. Apparently I put on a garbage disposal play for the ages at the first
There's nothing new. I'm used to it. Alex should be used to it. There's nothing new. We're all used to it.
Used to what? Grant pulling things out of his ass?
No.
Or
we're talking about Grant
cleaning up everybody's leftovers.
Yeah, no one's surprised by it.
I've
been doing it for years.
You guys would laugh at this today. So the backstory was that our waiter, very nice guy, just kept asking to take plates when they weren't really ready to be taken yet. And
we were,
and then he went to the bar we were at later that night, which was wild. We went out to lunch today with my parents for my birthday, and I was eating a clam chowder soup. Delicious, by the way. Kind of threw me off, though. The chowder was red-based, tomato-based, which you don't normally see.
There are 2 styles of chowder.
It was called Charlie's Chowder. I highly recommend to try Charlie's Chowder. It was delicious, but I was kind of taking a while to eat it because I was talking, so I wasn't eating the fastest, and I still had like 10 spoonfuls left. Waitress comes up, are you done with that? I'll take it. I was like, no, I'm still working on it. It's like, why does this keep happening to me in the last 2 days? Every waiter or waitress in the county is like, are you done with that? I want to take it from you. I'm not done. Maybe I do. Maybe that's what I'm learning. Evan, you were disappointed in your teriyaki salmon sandwich. I think that should be noted for the record.
Was still disappointed in it.
I think in general,
it doesn't help that your guys' chicken wings were so good.
They were good.
Yeah, I did feel bad just saying these are top 3 of all time, but they were.
I gave Evan one, and they're really good.
Yeah.
Looking back, Evan, do you think you would have gone with a little safer menu? Because a salmon sandwich is a risky thing to get.
Well, salmon's always dry made at a restaurant.
Damn, Alex.
You make wet salmon?
It was not cooked properly. It was charred. It was seared to the max, and then they doused in teriyaki, and it was overdone. Teriyaki was just powering. It was like eating teriyaki slaw and bun.
Teriyaki slaw and bun.
And just watching everybody else enjoy their meals just made me even sadder. So I just finished off the truffle fries.
Those were good. At least you had that.
Yeah.
And your blue moons look delicious as well.
Always good.
we had some success with Keno. Evan, you got your money back, and I stumbled into $75. Didn't know I won, which was great. It was a great feeling.
Pulling things out of his ass. Yes.
What else? Oh, yes. Then we got into it at Main Street Billiards. Shout out to that establishment for their games. They need a new ping pong table, but that's neither here nor there. What was it? Oh, yes. It was over a pool rules debate because you scratched on the 8-ball, and apparently you had let that rule go last game, and I didn't know.
Well, because Grant scratched on the 8-ball the game before, and we're like, we'll just not say anything, be good. And then I did it, and then Grant was quick to say that they won.
Do we know
completely forgetting? Sure, yes.
If you're aiming at the 8-ball, you don't make the 8-ball, but you scratch in the process of aiming at the 8-ball, you lose the game.
I mean, I don't know for sure.
The official rules of billiards, I think you would lose the game if you missed the 8-ball undershot.
Yeah, if you miss the 8-ball, fully scratch, I would assume you lose, which you did the game before.
I would like a listener that is.
Specifically, I'll look it up.
Specifically, though, in like bar billiards, because there's like ball and hand rules that I feel like every time I play pool in a bar, it's always a slightly variation of a rule set that I didn't know about or like certain people play.
Should just be agreed upon with the people.
There's a billiard Congress of America.
It's kind of like beer pong, where like every house has little quirks in their rules. And I feel like when I play pool, like some people are like, no, it's not ball in hand. You put it behind the 2 dots, blah, 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 whatever. It's just always confusing. And then that's probably why a lot of people that play pool get in fights at a professional level. It was fun. Dance floor we probably stayed at the dance floor a little too long. It was an interesting mix of people. There
were some characters on that dance floor.
Good music.
Some actual characters.
Evan perfected his dance move in the crowd. It was pretty great. Saw Snapchat of it this morning that made me laugh. Thinking
just
back
to it. Bob and weave.
That video was funny.
Shout out to the bartender on the backside with the Orange Dream. Her establishment knows how to make that.
It's not the one up front.
And called me out for not finishing mine. It was just a lot of liquid. Didn't you guys think that?
It was a
big shot.
It was shot out mucks. It was a muck shot.
Yeah,
just felt like.
Well, I saw her pouring the Jameson into like the shaker bottle, and she was over there just like draining that bottle in there. I was like, "Oh my gosh, here we go."
It tasted fantastic. It just was a lot of liquid to get down in one, and that's what I struggled with. But looking back, I did realize that I had a slight headache this morning because I didn't feel that bad going to bed, but I realized the variety of alcohol that we drank yesterday was probably attributed to the headache.
Yeah.
It was fun though. I don't know if I'm missing anything.
No rail after contact. Boom. Real rule. Told you.
No rail. No, yeah. I think
I agree with that one.
Yeah.
It's just
I've had people yell at me for saying that.
I play slop and ball of hand just because it's faster. We're not all the best billiards players. I play those just because it makes the game go by faster. And then the whole scratch debate was just Grant missed, but this cue ball never went in. Alex hit the cue ball, but Alex hit the 8-ball, but the cue ball went in. So that's where the gray
But the
area
8-ball did not go in.
The 8-ball did not. Everyone knows that rule, but I'm curious.
If you scratch on the 8-ball, technically Grant scratched on the 8-ball too.
Yes.
But just a matter of the ball didn't go in.
Yeah. It's like if you scratch on the 8-ball not going in.
Neither of our balls 8-ball went in.
No, we were just bad at pool, so we missed and scratched on the 8-ball, but the 8-ball didn't go in. So it's like, is that game over? I like the rule we have where you just keep playing because I think the pressure around the 8-ball is like the most fun part of the game.
You need to
watching people.
You need to play with friend of the podcast, Jason.
How does he play?
He's the all-time. Just keep on playing. Somebody hits 8-ball in the middle of the round, grab the 8-ball, put it back on the table. Let's go.
I love that. I actually do love that. That's fun. All right, I gotta play pool with Jason. Okay. Alex and I
Tigers game,
and Cody went to a Tigers game. It was
they stink.
The weather was great. I enjoyed the bleacher seats. The people we were with was fun. The game itself was horrendous. A lot of things about Comerica Park weren't great, I would say.
But Miggy hit a double, Grant.
The crowd went crazy.
Telling Evan about that, how like there's a certain population of like Tigers fans where all they know is Miggy. They don't know like the new players, and rightfully so because we've been so bad. So they look at him like a god, and they tune in when he's up to bat because the announcer gets all excited, and he hit a double, and the place was just going bananas. Down 4-0, hit a double, and I think someone grounded out the third, and the inning was over the next play. But they'll always have that moment of seeing him bloop a double into right field, and people are just bonkers. Alex, would you like to talk about the post-game fireworks bonkers show that you were getting annoyed at?
Two things. One.
And then the variations we got to. If you saw 100 pitches from an MLB pitcher, and let's say they're pitching their full arsenal, they can throw whatever they want at you. Will you follow off one pitch? Will you follow tip one pitch?
I will follow tip one pitch.
Yes.
I think I
saying you're going to hit a home run is crazy.
I'll be lucky to get a ball in play that's to the left of the pitcher's mound to technically pull the ball. If I put one in play, it is literally going down the first base line and probably touching the bag. It's the only way I hit one fair.
Now, how does it change if you knew he's throwing you 100 straight, like 95 mile an hour fastballs? Do you think you could get a hit by the end of the 100?
Yeah. If it's the same pitch just over and over and over again, eventually you just start.
You would be able to hit a couple, but you wouldn't hit home runs.
Just the timing. 100 pitches is a lot.
You'd be exhausted after 30 pitches.
Yes, that's a big factor. I do think, though, if it was a pitcher who has like a good two-seam action on his fastball, I'm not touching one, even if he throws 100 in a row of that, because
it would move
nasty, and it's never the same each time. It was a four-seam, maybe, but yeah, just like that, Alex.
What doesn't go in and out?
Go all over the place.
You can make it go. You can make it dance.
It's a curveball, fastball.
And then if you think about this, he could throw one at your head, and then you're just never gonna even be able to focus after that.
Leave. Gonna walk off.
Like he won't hit you, but he's gonna make you think about it, and then there's no chance you're gonna hit anything. So we talked about that during the game because it was so boring. They lost 8-0. Oh, actually, yes. Your second point about the firework display and the behavior of the fans.
The amount of people and children I saw with their tarps off for a team that lost 8-0 and dancing and waving them like rally towels. Yeah, you would have thought we won the World Series. It was an unbelievable
Friday
sight.
Night. Come on.
It was an unbelievable sight. I'm not saying I was mad about it, but it was.
There's that word again.
It had to be
Friday night. Don't be the party pooper in a people's parade.
I didn't party pooper it. I was just like, wow, this is absurd.
It was an out-of-body experience. Like the lights at Comerica were like doing a strobe effect, and they were like getting people hyped to see the fireworks, and they were just doing the crowd shots, cut the kids blaring Latin music because it was Fiesta Tigres night, and these kids are just, like Alex said, tarps off, just waving, like watching.
And then there were grown-ass men tarps off.
Screaming in the camera that was going around the stadium.
It was something else.
And I'm sure those kids maybe are more well-adjusted than I was, but I don't know about you. When I would go to games with like my dad and family and my team lost,
tarp never came off.
I was sad, and I was a depressed boy for a little bit on the way home. And maybe that speaks out me being a loser, but I just can't relate to the feeling of watching your team get dusted and being like, all right, tarps off, fireworks time. Evan, we got a little feedback. Oh, it's gone.
Oh, there it goes. You're not supposed to move, remember?
I'm sorry.
You're good. Yeah, it was a scene. It was crazy.
Lastly, the fireworks at the very end. First of all, the fireworks were a little long for my liking. They went for a long time.
Oh, my God. You're complaining about the firework length?
Not a huge firework guy.
I know where. Hey, let's just say this. I know where our budget's going. It's not on free agent players. It's on that fireworks.
Yeah, we
show.
put a lot of money into fireworks.
How long was it? Time-wise, how long was it?
I think it was at least 25 minutes.
I was going to say a half hour.
Every 4th of July, dude. Come on. You really going to rain on the parade?
And they just do that every Friday? Well, I just feel like we could put our funds somewhere else, like to baseball
every
players.
Friday home game.
You know why we had to get Baez instead of Carlos Correa? Fireworks show.
Anyways, the finale, the final actual finale, it was as loud as what I was hoping was going to happen when we watched Oppenheimer. I was hoping that's what it was going to be. It was insanely loud. I couldn't imagine if I lived in Detroit or like just newly moved to Detroit and I'm in my like apartment downtown and then these go off. I would be freaking out how loud it was. It sounded like
you're also like underneath it. You're not like
no, because the fireworks that had gone on for 20 minutes before that were fine. And then the ending was like, holy shit, hunkered down.
You were an old man already. You were complaining.
No,
about
you
the
can ask
fireworks
anybody.
show.
Everybody around us was like, wow, it got loud in here.
I will say, Evan, I was too slow getting Snapchat out, but McCrate was behind us with his sunglasses on, and it was so bright it looked like that photo in Oppenheimer of like him looking. And
It did.
like, I wanted to get it so bad.
That'd be an
but I
all-time
missed
great
it.
picture.
It was. That's a meme. McCrate watching the fireworks at Ford Field, like just like Oppenheimer.
It was wild.
Yeah.
So that made the fireworks worth it because the ending was something else.
Hot dogs are $8, and they're the size of like a popsicle, and the beer is like $14. It's a joke to like go to a game there for how bad the team is.
Illich is robbing us.
Yep.
I didn't
I
go
don't
to
think-
support the Tigers. I supported Grant's birthday.
I'm not sure anyone got Little Caesars pizza. I think we did a good job of not giving more money, which is a funny moment when someone said something about Little Caesars. I think, Alex, you were craving a pizza, and I was like, you can't
Yeah, I
get
was
that.
like, I'm gonna go get one.
I was like, you can't support him. He's like, Grant, we already bought tickets. We kind of already did support the team. I was like, yeah, you're right.
We had already bought a hot dog and a beer at that point. What was another pizza?
Any other notable things? Life-wise, I realized I did a bad job telling people I did move back to Michigan. I don't live in Minnesota anymore for work.
That's the least
that's an
surprising thing
important
I've ever heard.
thing to know.
You didn't even tell
I'm-
anybody that you did.
I'm not a big life update #life update guy on social media, so it's just I don't know.
I don't blame
So this
you.
is my
You
opportunity.
don't need a life update on social media, but you could text your friends and be like, "Hey guys, I'm moving back to Michigan."
It's a weird thing because like you do tell some people, but then like, are you gonna text every individual person you come in contact with? Like, hey, just to let you know,
Just
I'm moving
text
back
your
to
main
Michigan.
group chats. Just text
Yeah.
like a few group chats and then
Gambling
just hang out
degenerates,
most
just
of
like,
them.
hey guys, moving back to Michigan. Spread the
That
word
would've
if anyone
handled it
asks.
Spread the word. Post some flyers downtown if you don't mind. Grant, maybe you should get back on Facebook and just post it on there. See how many people
And update your
like it.
relationship status because if you're not dating Marissa on there, it's not real.
Correct.
That's true.
It's not-
That's an
if
app.
it's not Facebook official, you are not dating.
That's in Evan Cabas's testament. I think that's it. You guys have anything else that was important the last 2 weeks?
Important.
Or I don't
Golf
know.
league. Alex, how'd you golf on golf league last week?
We finally won. I think I shot 42 or something. And we took 22 and a half. So that was nice. We won.
Drew and I.
We played Evan, your favorite guy.
Well, so Alex, my golf league, the people that we were supposed to play never showed up and didn't tell Drew and I.
Forfeit.
So
Forgot about that.
Drew and I had to play by ourselves. We teed off first, just hummed along, just mind our own business, just me and Drew chatting it up. And
Good
we both
bonding.
didn't play that well.
You guys could have cheated the shit out of that too. Could have wrote 36s.
Mm-hmm. You really should have.
We all would have known.
Teach that league a lesson.
Drew played really well after the first hole, and I played really well up until the seventh hole.
Interesting. It's a good way
So-
to.
Not too bad. Other than that, that's my life update. Nothing else is really too exciting besides the camping trip is next week. Oh my god.
Evan's gonna go live in the woods for a night by himself.
Heck yeah.
And I guess I could recap the invite. I forgot about that.
Oh, that was 2 weeks ago.
But it's a lot. There's just a lot to say about
Maybe
that.
just a
You
high
also
level
were supposed to
overview.
tell how you won your
Yeah, I'll
match
do that. I'll
against-
do that real quick. Flight 2. We won our first match, won our second match, tied our third match, tied our fourth match.
Oh my gosh.
So our final match is against longtime listener Ben.
Mm.
Evan, stop moving.
You still hear it?
Yeah,
A little bit. I just want to know what it is.
it's a cord.
But the cord isn't moving.
Well,
Nothing's moving.
That stopped it. Whatever you just that little stopped it. Anyways,
I'm not touching anything.
I know.
It is the
I
damnest
get
thing.
it. So our final match is against longtime listener Ben. We were down 2.5 points. There's that sound again. We were down 2.5 points, And I know. I don't know what you're going to do about it.
I can't hear it.
We know. It's gone.
It's gone now. I wonder if it's, I don't know what it is. Anyways, sorry. You were down.
So we're down 2.5 points. Most points in the flight moves on to the shootout. There's 9 points in a match, so we have to take 2 more than them, 2.5 more than them to move on. I think we just had to take 2 more than them. Because we would win our match and then we'd have the tiebreaker, whatever. So just 2 more points. With 2 holes left, I made a par for a net birdie to win so that would put us up 2 points. So comfortably, we just had to push the final 2 holes, and we were moving on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to the next hole. Shout out Ben. He had a downhill, 30-footer that looked impossible to stop. There was no way he was 2-putting it, and he pulled it off. He 2-putted it, and then I burned the edge. So now we have to win the final hole. Tee shots, everyone was good. Everyone hit a good tee shot. Nobody is getting a stroke. I don't think. Yeah, no one's getting a stroke. Hole 10 for your reference, Evan. So Ben goes first. He hits his on the green. His partner hits it short. Cody hits it pin high on the green. And I hit it on the fringe in the front of the green. So Ben's partner and me are pretty much in the same spot. Ben's on the backside of the green. Cody's pin high. So Cody's the best look. But it's still not a makeable. I mean, it's makeable, but doubtful. Ben's partner hits his chip way too far over the hole. So now he's struggling to make a par. So then I'm chipping next. Cody comes up to me. He's like, I think you should just try to make it. You make it, we probably win. I'm like, yeah, I plan on it. So try.
Okay.
And he mainly says because he was going to pull the pin. So he pulled the pin. I'm chipping. I have a wedge. Hit the chip. Right when I hit it, I'm like, oh, that's good. Keep in mind, earlier in this exact round, I early walked 2 putts and a chip. All 3 lipped out. So I early walked them and missed. They missed.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, I hit it, and I'm like, oh, that looks great. But I'm not going to early walk this one because I don't want to be that guy for the 4th time. Hit it, going right at the hole, lips out. Just devastating. To my knees, it's over. We lost because now I'm thinking Ben 2 putts, Cody 2 putts. It's over. Cody hits his putt, gives it a good run, doesn't make it. So now Ben's going down the hill from the back of the green. Goes by about 4 to 5 feet. So he got 5-footer uphill, not much to it. I'm talking to his partner. We're sitting there. I said to his partner, Ben lost on this hole last year. So I was like, I honestly hope he just makes this because I don't think I can watch him miss and then lose on the same hole again on a missed putt. Then he went up and he pulled it and he missed. And it was just devastating. So that's how we moved on. It was a whirlwind. They thought they lost when I chipped it. Then we thought we lost when it didn't go in. And then Ben missed. And then we moved on. So I feel bad for Ben.
Yeah.
But then we went on to the shootout. We finished 3rd overall. I'm not going to go through every shootout hole, but
how was your chip and the chip off?
It wasn't great. It was a tough chip.
Oh.
Neither of us hit good chips. It was straight downhill. They put us in a terrible spot. After the thing, a bunch of people came up to me and they're like, we got to fix how chip offs are run. Why would they put it there? Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. But
did it make you feel better?
No, I thought about it for 3 days.
Oh, no.
Well, just what I would have done differently. What I needed to do was hit a flop shot, but the amount of pressure to try to pull that off, I thought I was making the right decision not doing that. Turns out I probably needed to do that. So,
just a sweet little
it needed to be high so it could land soft and not
slice it. Ugh.
But I didn't have the stones for that.
Cody tried doing that on one of the early holes yesterday, and it was like a simple chip. He just wanted to be cool. He was not the right outcome. He looked at me like, that was a jackass move. I shouldn't have tried to do that.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't going to do that in the shootout.
Well,
but
bright side is your highest finish ever.
Got really close. We had a really good chance of winning the whole thing.
But now you've won your flight back-to-back years, and there's a huge bullseye on your back.
2 out of 3.
You guys didn't win it last year?
No.
Oh. Year before that you did?
Yes.
Oh.
2 out of 3.
Well.
And we might not be playing next year because one of our friends decided to get married that weekend.
Well.
And if apparently the word on the street is if you go out, you're on a waiting list and you might not get back in.
Oh, please. Someone can the spot. If you know, you know. Well, that's exciting. Yeah, I was gonna say if you guys win one more year, like 3 out of 4, people start talking about dynasties at that point. The dynasty of Flight 2.
Or they start talking. They're like the name a player that's been in the finals 20 times and has never won. That's what we'll start.
You're Chris Paul.
You're Chris Paul.
He's only been in the finals once. I've already been to the finals more.
You're the Buffalo Bills when they lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. You're not that good though. That's dominant.
Well, we could get to that point, maybe. Anyways, a lot of fun, as always.
That's exciting.
Not too much drama this year.
Well,
minus that one ginormous incident, but
right, yeah. But if you ignore that, no accidents. It's like they should have one of those signs. It has been blank days since there was unnecessary drama at the Tecumseh invite. It's always.
It is like a high school.
Yeah. You should just bring that sign with you and put it on the back of your cart.
Just flip it. Oh man! All right, should we dive into some football, some pigskin?
Football.
First question, hot and steamy out the gate for Evan. I saw this tweet from @Detroit Moments. If Jared Goff is able to do the unthinkable and win the North, first of all, I would say it's not unthinkable for that to happen.
I saw a comment on it, guys.
I bet you didn't like it. Bring playoff football for the first time to Ford Field, win a playoff game, and maybe more. Does he surpass Matthew Stafford in ranks of Lions legacy? Question, Evan.
Oh, shoot.
That's how you know Evan's going to say yes, but he's trying to think of how to spin it. You can see his brain trying to spin it right now.
I can say no.
Do you want me to read a tweet that I just read about Jared Goff that might make you feel even better?
I can say no.
I want to hear it.
Stafford was here and stuck it out for the 30 years. Stafford's going to have his number retired. And as of right now, Goff will never have his number retired.
Wait, you think Stafford's going to have his number retired in Detroit?
Yes.
Really?
Or
I don't think
regular season games.
Can we do that? That's such a weird.
I guess if you're that bad of a franchise, yes, you could.
There's a lot of franchises that we didn't really win that much, and everybody else's numbers are up there.
Well, we haven't won a playoff game. If we had won like a couple playoff games with him, I would say yeah.
So Calvin doesn't deserve when he gets his number retired?
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Is Matthew Stafford? Maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Says we have.
Listen, I like Stafford. I don't know. I guess he would be in the Lions, but that's a testament to our organization.
I don't know.
Never did anything wrong. Great leader.
I mean, he certainly had games where he let us down, Evan. There's no denying that.
Also, the most comebacks in the fourth quarter.
You're always down.
Dutch Clark, Lem Barney, Billy Sims, Barry Sanders, Bobby Lane, Doak Walker, Joe Schmidt, Chuck Hughes. I don't know.
Chris Spielman.
I don't know many of these guys.
Yeah, we were there for that.
Chris Spielman.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, we were there for that.
Yeah. Was it number retired or was he just inducted to the ring?
Isn't the Ring of Honor jersey retired the same thing?
No, because isn't Derek
Ring of Honor is different? Yeah.
What is Derek Barnes wear?
55.
Okay. Does anyone wear 54? Spielman was 54. He's on here. No,
DeAndre
because
Levy did.
Jason Hansen is in the Ring of Honor, but you can still wear number 4, I believe, right? Doesn't someone wear number 4 or no?
Badgley did, didn't he?
Okay.
Chark did last year.
Oh, yeah, Chark did.
So I think there's a difference between the
Chark on our team
two.
last year?
All right, based
Chark
on
our team.
that, yeah, he wore number 17, didn't he? Or no?
Chark? 4.
Oh fuck, no, you're right. I'm sorry. Wow.
Didn't you wear number 4 last year?
Yeah,
It's a single
Chark wore
digit number.
4.
my brain's gone. Evan, I think now that we actually looked at that, I think you have a chance for it's called the Pride of the Lions or whatever, like the Ring of Honor. I think he can make that. I don't think he's gonna be retired number based on the list I just.
Well, I always thought if you got into the Ring of Honor, you should just have your jersey retired. Because what the frick's the difference?
Semantics. Well, I
Hansen
guess the difference is
should have his jersey retired. Number 4 should be retired.
The difference is like they're honoring you with something in the stadium, but people can still wear your number.
People can still do it, and you just have your patch on their jersey.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like Michigan football did that. I thought it was kind of
that
corny
was-
though. Remember when
that
Devin
was
Gardner
lame.
wore like 98?
Well, eventually, these teams are going to have to because you're going to run out of numbers.
Or you just don't hand out too many retirements.
Or like
That's
the really good teams that have a bunch of players that should have their jersey retired.
Yeah.
But like the dirty,
Michigan State basketball retires a bunch of jerseys, and they still let everybody wear the numbers, don't they?
No,
So 5's going to be gone too.
correct.
Sorry, Trey Holloman.
enjoy it while it lasts. So I feel like if you asked Evan, after the Lions do win that playoff game, his answer to that question will probably be a little bit different because we'll get caught up in the Kool-Aid. But I like that you stick to your Matthew Stafford gun.
If Jared Goff wins a Super Bowl, Evan,
If Jared Goff wins a Super Bowl for the Lions, dude, he can have this. I'll single-handedly build the statue out in front of Ford Field.
Out of Legos.
It'll be right next to Barry Sanders' statue.
The tweet I
That's
saw
I'd
says
love to see that.
Lions quarterback Jared Goff has reportedly looked unreal throughout the early parts of training camp. One source within the team tells us that the Goff-Stafford trade may become one of the biggest win-win trades of all time. The Rams got their Super Bowl. Now it looks like it's the Lions' turn to see the fruits from the trade.
That's a really dirty tweet. That's implying that like we're going to look at a Super Bowl this year. That
Correct.
feels a little weird. Hey, everyone loves win-wins.
It's a conflicting topic.
Well,
It
he's
was
in
the-
year 2 under Ben Johnson, so there's no.
I mean, Jared was really good last year, and people are overlooking it.
You know what
There's no
pissed me
learning
off?
curve.
Speaking of this QB debate, I need to look this up. I didn't want to get that.
I'll die on the
rabbit hole,
Stafford
but
Hill.
We know.
The Athletic. What's the guy's
He's
name?
the most
from
talented.
Athletic that,
He's the most talented quarterback the Lions have ever had, and people still wanted him gone. They thought he was a problem, and not the front office, not the coaching staff. Look at the coaches that he had. The coaches that
But he didn't want to stick it out with the new coaches. He wanted to leave.
because we're in a rebuild.
That rebuild is over now. He could have waited.
I don't blame
now he
Stafford
would
for
be-
leaving.
No, if he waited, we wouldn't have been able to get the rebuild us back because he wouldn't have that many draft picks.
That's also true.
Good point.
All right. I hope it's a win-win. What did irk me about Goff, Mike Sando, guy for the Athletic, he does a yearly quarterback tier survey where he asks 8 general managers, 10 head coaches, 15 coordinators, 10 executives, and 4 quarterback coaches, and 3 other people in coaching analytics, all anonymously. They vote on who the best quarterbacks in the NFL are going into that year. And I was a little pissed off where Jared Goff landed on this list because I thought it was pretty disrespectful. Can you guess what number he was on this list?
Out of 32,
11 or 12.
Yeah, out of
13.
32. Out of
He's lower
30.
than that. He's
Out of 30.
out of 30. He's probably
13.
16, 15, 16.
He is 15. And the names above him,
Who
Derek
are the bad
Carr.
names in front of him?
Derek Carr is above him at 14. I would take Jared Goff over Derek Carr.
Agreed.
This is a wild card. 13 was Kyler Murray. Talented guy, but I don't know if I want him leading my team. I don't.
He's got one knee right
I would
now.
say that.
I'm starting a franchise tomorrow, and I'm taking Jared Goff.
12 is Kirk Cousins, who we all love, but I don't think there's a 3-spot gap between the two.
I think
don't
they're very
that.
similar, but Kirko is better than people think.
Yeah. 11's Deshaun Watson.
No, not right now.
10 is Stafford.
Not right now.
Super Bowl
9 is
champion.
Dak Prescott. I would take Jared Goff over Dak Prescott.
Fuck
I
no,
don't
would
know.
not take Dak Prescott.
Dak led the NFL interceptions last year and missed 5
He was
games.
horrendous last year.
I don't
Wild.
understand
Goff
how
didn't
he
throw
did
interceptions
that.
Deshaun
last
Watson
9
was
games.
horrendous last year, and Stafford didn't play last year. I would
That's what I'm
Deshaun
saying.
Watson was
Jared
horrendous
Goff over
last year
all
because he
three of
didn't play for 11 games.
them. It doesn't matter, Evan. He still
I
was
understand.
garbage.
I agree with you. I'm just telling you why.
I know.
And
why.
nobody wants to talk about Deshaun Watson just because of what he did.
If he
Right.
sucks like the first 4 games, like he's done. I don't think he'll
Yeah.
ever come back from it.
Yeah, I
don't
think he'll
he
be
can
out of the
with that
NFL.
contract.
Oh, it's true. That's a good point.
No, he'll be in the NFL, but he'll just be hot garbage, and we won't talk. We'll just look at him like Zach Wilson.
Steamy garbage. Yeah, I did kind of forget he's in the NFL. Zach Wilson.
Back up for the Jets for 4
Anybody
years.
else in front of him that would surprise us?
8. I mean, people are in on the Trevor Lawrence train. Having him at 8, I guess, is fair. It feels a little high, but he did.
If I'm
he did
starting my
play
franchise
well.
tomorrow, I'm taking Trevor Lawrence over Jared Goff. And that hurts me to say that.
And then 7's
I'm taking
Lamar.
Mahomes.
6 is Hurts.
Lamar's
5's
so
Herbert.
overrated.
4 is Aaron Rodgers still. I
The
think
rest.
it's a little high for Rodgers still, to be honest with you.
4 is high for
Bounce back
Rodgers,
here.
but it's still above Jared.
Like, I think I'd rather have Jalen Hurts. I don't know. I guess Rodgers could go on a revenge tour and make me look dumb, but I don't hate, like, Jalen Hurts. I'd like to be leading my
It's
team.
Mahomes, Gap, Burrow, Allen, Gap. Then we go from there.
But to have Prescott,
Oh, and Herbert, too.
Carr over Goff just didn't feel great.
Doesn't matter.
There's
man.
only one reason
doesn't
why
matter. You're
Prescott
right.
still has a job is because the logo that he wears.
Well, he also, destroyed his leg, and they had to give him a contract.
Remember the tweet the social media team did after they lost that playoff game? Basically was like, yeah, if Dak didn't turn the ball over this many times, we would have won the game. Like
Remember when they lined up Zeke at the snapper position
Center.
last play of the game last year, and he got absolutely obliterated, and now he's not in the NFL anymore? Tough looks.
Only other things for the Lions, I just thought it should be noted the season ticket record. Historic news that it's sold out for probably the first time ever, definitely in Ford Field era, but they don't have data before then. I'm guessing it's maybe in the 90s at Silverdome they sold them out, but that's cool. Dan Campbell had a sweet
Close.
quote. What?
In the 90s. My dad had season tickets to the Silverdome in the 90s, and he said they were packed all the time.
Hell yeah.
But I bet they were
Hell
not
yeah,
sold
G.
out. The Barry Sanders was electric to watch, apparently.
Oh, I can imagine. Dan Campbell said he doesn't feel pressure. It's wind beneath his wings was a fantastic quote.
Really good quote.
I actually just love that, man, that he's our head coach. It's awesome.
There's a new house being built by me. I'm really hoping it's Dan.
He moves in next to Aaron. His bros.
Would that be that surprising? To live like
A
a
little.
block away from your
Yes, Dan
Good.
Campbell is
Little
a
bit.
country,
Yes,
country farm
correct.
guy,
I
not
mean,
Mark D'Antonio and Tom Izzo were neighbors.
in a gated private community with a
This is-
neighborhood that
A nice bougie neighborhood.
Dan Campbell's truck would
That
fit
CVS
on those
is
streets.
garbage. Yeah.
No, Dan would be down.
Where would Dan
those
put his
streets.
cows?
Dan doesn't have cows. Would have a
He
second.
grew up on a cattle ranch in
His
Texas.
goats.
Dude. He
Yeah,
has
well,
that
he's
chickens.
Detroit tough now, Evan.
and those people have cows.
He lived in Detroit once.
Birmingham, Michigan is Detroit tough. That's what they say.
They don't say that. They don't say that at all.
I think we need to just talk about Jameson Williams for a second. What are your guys' thoughts on him? He's a big topic in camp.
He's either doing something horrible or awesome every 5 seconds based on the media overreacting to every single play.
Talent
he
is
has.
performing in practice, but we don't get to see it until week 7.
Well, we'll see in the preseason because he's playing a lot of snaps, Dan Campbell said.
Well, he has to get his reps in before he gets suspended.
Apparently, he has bad hands. Dan Campbell said it himself.
Yeah, I appreciate the honesty. Just setting our expectations. This guy will drop some footballs. Be prepared for it. I was kind of all back in on him after I saw the 55-yard touchdown, which I should say, being that wide open for a touchdown like that in a 7-on-7 period is insane in the NFL. Like, everyone knows you're passing to beat the corner and safeties that bad in a 7-on-7.
Are
means this guy is
corners bad?
No, I think it means JMO is truly.
Well, when CJGJ said that he's one of the best receivers in the NFL, that pretty much sold me in.
CJGJ also is a character, and he just would probably say that
Still
about
a wild thing to say.
He probably would say that about you, Alex, if you were on the team. He probably would just be like, yeah, this guy Gillen, he's carving it up out there. He's the best.
You know who is carving it up out there and might be the best receiver in the NFL all of a sudden? Any guesses?
ARSB.
Yeah, that's that guy's doing it. There's incredible buzz. He might go for 120 in our fantasy draft.
I think he might end up being the second best Lions receiver of all time.
Whoa.
Has he ever been injured?
Alex, why the hell would you just...
Yes. He missed a game last year.
Did he?
Yeah. Ankle.
What game did we lose that he didn't play in?
No idea.
Dolphins?
Yeah, I don't know. You didn't watch that
He was
game.
injured. He was
play the
injured and he
Patriots
came back
game?
and scored like the 5 or 6 games in a row. I think it was the Patriots game.
Alex didn't watch a snap.
No, he
of the
got injured in
The
the
Dolphins
game.
game, I didn't even see a single play. I still haven't. I don't know what happened in that game.
Speaking of the Sun God, for all you gamblers now that I'm back in the scene and give you some tips here, there is a special for the Lions for a Monroe to score 10 or more receiving touchdowns this season. It's plus 550. I think that's incredible value. The reason it's that juice is because he's only caught, I think, 5 in 1 year and 4 in the next, but the regression is due to get to 10. That guy is always looked at in the red zone. He will have 10 receiving touchdowns this year easily.
Problem is we score so many rushing touchdowns.
Not anymore.
Well, Jahmyr Gibbs. Well,
David
we have
Montgomery's
David
getting
Montgomery.
Receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, we actually have a sick backfield too, Grant. I don't know. There's a reason that thing's plus 550.
The last thing about JMO, I was fully back in on him after seeing that play, but then I saw that at the end this week he missed another practice, and no one reported why. So I don't like that he's just missing practices left and right. I don't like this at all. So
It's just because he's over scrutinized. You probably wouldn't even hear about this stuff if it was
It's
anybody
the
else.
NFL hearing for a suspension.
Oh, where'd you hear that at? Oh,
I said just could be.
I think
It
you're
sounded-
right, it is.
it sounded pretty confident. I was like, oh, so you may have flown to New York to meet with Roger.
Yeah, because he got 6
Fuck
that in
Roger.
a hotel, and Alvin
Cut
Kamara
that.
technically never got charged. Charges were dropped, but the whole media post, he only gets 3 games. So there's a bunch of backlash there.
Kamara gets 3 games and JMO gets 6.
But technically,
It's
Kamara
about the
never
integrity of the
committed
league.
a crime.
Guys.
And Devontae Adams ruined that cameraman's life and got 0.
Please, that was so overblown.
That was ridiculous. People like that try to sue over something that dumb are just money grubbers.
One thing I do like though, I do love the beat reporter staff for the Lions in the weeds, but it is nice sometimes when the national people go to watch the Lions and give their perspective, seeing it like for a weekend.
Dude, the lines were all over on SportsCenter and NFL Network the last week or so.
Yeah. Ben
Kinda
Solak,
crazy.
Ben Solak with the Ringer went to their practice. He was one of the national people that went out there. His takeaways to tweets I bookmarked. He said 1.5 practices in the Lions camp. Hutch looks excellent. Love to see that. I've been hearing Hutchinson has been tearing it up, that he is basically a taller Bosa.
Don't say stuff like
That's
that. If it's
what
not
I
gonna be true.
actually read that sentence in an article, that he looks like a taller Bosa, the way he's dominating.
Is he actually taller than Bosa's?
Yeah, he's taller.
Bosa's
but I don't
short?
think he's not bigger though.
People are wondering, now the Bosa's short.
The Bosa's are kind of
Nick
short.
Bosa.
Not
Hutchinson
short,
doesn't look.
but-
Hutchinson doesn't look that tall out there.
Bosa's 6'4".
Hutchinson
That's still tall.
is not 6'6". There's no way.
Is he?
He is 6'6", listed.
He doesn't look 6'6". He's like 6'4" max.
It's because he doesn't fill out his frame.
Evans weighed in. He's not a taller Bosa. He's the same height Bosa.
He doesn't look 6'6". He doesn't look tall.
The Bosas are thicker. That's why they look.
Remember when everyone thought Hutchinson was frail and like couldn't lift weight his first year going into training?
Well, he's got short arms still, Grant. Never forget.
Evan still
Right.
thinks he sucks.
Evans still.
Well, if he
holding
had
out.
longer arms, he would have actually stripped Aaron Rodgers on Sunday Night Football.
No,
instead
he
of
didn't
missing.
need longer arms. He just needed to look at the ball.
that was
No,
crazy.
if he had longer
That-
arms, he would have hit that no matter what, even if he didn't have to look at
Nick
it.
Bosa's
Get longer
arms compared to Aiden Hutchinson's arms. Grant Bosa's.
Wingspan.
Are we talking bodies? We talking rip bodies again?
If we're talking bodies, Nick Bosa's got a body.
We doing rip bodies again? You got my interest. His other tweet.
I'm glad Hutchinson's good for the Lions. I never said it. I was just saying that draft class. Hutchinson capitalized on his draft class. And the way that a hometown team was there.
No,
It's a good timing
he's
for
just
him.
a good player.
No, I mean he
He is. I said I wanted him to succeed for the Lions. There's nothing wrong with that. Alex,
what do you do?
Put a picture.
go check the show doc.
Oh,
Alex, you might.
Bosa is jacked. It's insane.
Yeah, he is jacked.
Yeah, I've never felt more embarrassed as a human. I got stuck in a hallway with him once going out
Nick
of practice.
Bosa?
When they did joint practices in Minnesota, he came out of the bathroom and we were like waiting for this forklift to drive out, and we were walking side by side, and I just felt like the littlest human in the entire world. Like,
Did you say hi or anything?
No, I didn't.
I'm sure
I
didn't say a peep.
We saw a former Michigan State Spartan at the bar last night.
Yeah, shout out Drew Beasley.
Really?
Kind of questionable that he was there.
I didn't know that.
It's a weird place to be hanging out.
It's the spot. So Lex, last week he said, leaving Lions camp, my biggest takeaway, this offense plans on throwing a lot of passes to Sam Laporta, and he caught everything in his vicinity. St. Brown, Laporta, and Gibbs might account for 90% of the targets while JMO is out. Usually rookie tight end.
Well,
go ahead, Evan.
No, it's just like breaking news. A quality offense is going to throw the ball majority to their quality players.
That's fair. The first sentence caught my eye. With
Sam Laporta sticking out. That's good, but also our talent at tight end in the room, like comparative, isn't much. I mean, it's who got just injured this week?
Zylstra got hurt. He's
he got injured, and then we caught him.
Yeah, waived him.
But like the talent comparative, like it is good to see that a rookie is still competing like that, but he didn't have much talent against the room. But those guys were still contributing last year.
Yeah.
Laporta is Kittle, so just relax.
Well,
Kittle had high price for him.
Laporta could be Kelsey.
I can't go that far.
The crazy thing is,
how good you have to be Travis Kelsey.
I know. The thing that's intriguing me is that usually tight ends as a rookie, I'm speaking of fantasy football purposes, they never pan out. Like you draft a hype rookie, like Kyle Pitts didn't do. He's good,
terrible
but
offense.
You're not like writing home up to people about Kyle Pitts if you drafted him. The fact that Laporta's getting this much buzz, I'm nervous about, but it sounds like he's the real deal and might make an impact in year one, which is really.
I will go out on a limb and say I guarantee he will make an impact in year one. He's an every down starter.
Like 700 yards
on a top 5 offense.
Like 700 yards as a rookie?
Yes. 5 touchdowns at least.
5 touchdowns. Like a lot of receptions. I don't know.
Monroe scoring 10.
I'll say like 70 receptions,
5.
700 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Gibbs will probably have fucking 10
100 catches, 1,000 receiving yards.
We're scoring 35 a game.
What did we say? Yes. Gibbs had to have? He'd have a combined like 1,000. Like I said,
what'd you say? Yours was
Gibbs.
Whatever Kamara,
insane.
Whatever Kamara had his rookie year, I said he should have.
Gibbs is going to be insane.
I'm excited. It also sounds like Jack Campbell is basically just the bona fide starter.
Yes, I saw that tweet. It said Jack Campbell guaranteed starting linebacker.
That's good. I didn't see that tweet.
Yeah, it's been like under the radar because I remember with Rodrigo, it was super hyped up, but I think everyone just like realized Campbell's that good, so they didn't have to say anything about it. Like I've read that for first team reps, it's always been Anzalone and Campbell. Is it Anzalone? I forget. Anzalone and Campbell. They just go out there, and then but Barnes is apparently Derek Barnes
white looked skin out there in the middle.
Apparently, Derek Barnes has looked really good, which is good.
Well, he's always been an athletic freak. It's just he's got Jared Davis syndrome.
I feel a little bad for Rodriguez. He's probably back to just special teams. That's kind of sad. I liked watching him play.
He's going to come in on situational downs and play. Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, defensive coordinator Alex.
He's a 5th round pick.
It's true. Perspective. Anything else on the Lions?
Yeah.
No. Little break from football, just fast. The Tigers. No. Do you guys think Scott Harris is in over his head? What happened here?
Scott Harris. We now know he's never ran a trade deadline with a team.
He did a really shitty
Plain
job.
And simple.
I mean, let's just be honest.
Worked backwards instead of forward.
He did a bad job. And also,
but also, it wasn't his player that he didn't sign Rodriguez. Avila gave him the no trade clause into the contract, and like everyone's complaining that like, but that's why it's in the contract. Rodriguez has that power to do it for the players.
The rumor is that Rodriguez wanted to leave, and his wife, who he left the team for last season when they were having marital issues because of who knows why, she said that she's not leaving. And so then he went and declined the trade after he had agreed to it.
Hefty rumors, Alex.
Yeah, I saw from a reporter on Twitter, or on X.
Source it. Name.
I'd have to find it.
Jim Bob 35. There was also something that he asked for like 1 year, $20 million, like as an extension to get traded there. And then when the team said, no, we're not doing that he turned it down. It's really bad. There's no sugarcoating it. He did trade Lorenzen. I mean, for a prospect, we'll see how it works. But the fact that there was a lot of trades that happened in the MLB with a lot of teams that have good hitting prospects that needed pitching. And you had a guy who was in the Cy Young discussion before he got hurt this year, and you simply just could not trade him. And he will likely walk this offseason and opt out of his contract, and you'll get nothing for him. This is really, and I think, was it either Ken Rosenthal? I think Ron Arkel, and just absolutely eviscerated Scott Harris. And I was like, if Ken Rosenthal is getting worked up over this, he seems like one of the nicest guys ever. Like, we must have really did a bad job. So that's not encouraging.
It's just such a disappointment.
Speaking of the win-win,
disgusting.
You know how you said win-win? Is the Paredes for Austin Meadows trade like the worst, one of the worst trades in the history of pro sports?
So bad.
And we loved it.
All of our trades.
We loved it in the moment. We were like, oh, we're idiots. Because they knew, I think the Braves probably knew about the issues he was having, and we're like, yeah, we'll trade him. Because that's the only way that trade made sense looking back at it. I mean, he just doesn't play.
Their outfield had depth, and he was probably the weak link in the outfield. You want more younger, faster, bigger, stronger.
You missed everything we said?
Yeah, you guys froze.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I was saying
the Rays could have known about Meadows' problems. That's what Grant's saying.
Meadows' anxiety issues. Like, why would they have done the trade back then? Looking back, and that was why.
Tigers are a joke. Boycott is going strong.
I want to be more passionate, like heated up about the trade deadline, but like Alex is saying, I don't really care that much about this franchise in my life. They've moved all the way down to the bottom of the totem pole, so I just can't. I can't find myself to get that mad when they do stuff like this.
It's not surprising.
One counter argument is like if you do sell over and over and over and over again at the trade deadline, you're eventually never going to like be competitive the following year. And I get he can opt out and he can leave. But who says you don't just pay him more money? Like if you do sell, you're never going to have like
all our money goes to fireworks.
It's also,
Scott Harris might have something new about it. He might know how to sign people, might not know how to trade people.
We'll find out.
I think the hard part for me is it feels like the relationship. Rodriguez, he said the right things. He said he wants to be in Detroit for a while, but he was like away from the team forever, and then now he was traded. Like he was told, we want you in LA, not Detroit, and he's like, no, I'm going to stay. So I just feel like the relationship is pretty fractured at this point. Evan, is Alex moving in like slow motion for you? It's kind of trippy.
Usually, like every week, you guys do that, but I usually just don't say anything about it.
I wish Alex, because I'm actually going to record my screen because it's hilarious. Okay. The last thing is going to be college football. Before we talk about the two teams, conference realignment, we add Oregon and Washington. Thoughts?
Cream of the crop. Adapt or die. And that's what the Big Ten's doing. Pac-12 folded. They're dead. I don't hate it.
It's sad that
I don't know how people. I don't care about the Pac-12.
Sad that
What do they have?
We killed conferences.
We didn't kill conferences. They killed themselves by not signing a TV contract. They did not sign a TV contract.
We contributed to the death of conferences.
They did not sign their TV contract.
I'm talking prior, Evan, to just the Pac-12. We've contributed to the death of conferences.
Has anyone
It
checked on Bill
happens.
Walton? You know if he's good? That's
Oh,
his
wow,
baby.
I am moving in slow motion.
I mean, he remember on every game he'd be like the Conference of Champions, and now it's just nothing. It just is pixie dust.
Well, there's 4 teams.
They're not going to be a conference anymore. It's going to go.
Bill
under.
Walton.
They could add a bunch of like lower tiered teams if they wanted.
He's not going to call Big Ten games, is he? Are we in for that? I don't want.
Oh
I don't
my
want that.
God, that would be terrible.
Well, technically, he's under contract for ESPN, and Big Ten will not be on ESPN like basically ever.
Big 12. Get ready.
he
for
called
Bill
3
Walton.
Michigan State games last year, and it was miserable.
Really? He's called 3? That's a lot.
Yeah, at all our
Well, we called the-
postseason tournaments. He hated all our games. Or
Yeah,
our
he did
preseason
the
tournaments.
Portland games or whatever out there, the Nike PK80 games.
Yeah,
Pick-
God, it was awful.
Pick one to keep: Bill Walton or Dan Dockich.
Bill Walton. Fuck Dan Dockich.
Bill Walton.
Bill Walton.
Dan Dockich is just a bad human being.
I agree.
Like,
He's kind of scummy,
not kind of. He's just straight scumbag.
and he thinks he locked up Michael Jordan, which has to be the biggest myth of all time.
He just
I haven't
thinks
seen the footage, but there's just
shit
no
don't
way.
Stank.
This is an inside Succession thing, Alex. When Evan answered that first question, he's like, "Cream of the crop, adapt or die." I felt like it was Kendall Roy talking in a business meeting.
You know, pep up.
Like
pep
the
talk.
phrases, yeah. No, I told Evan this, that I like the addition of Oregon Washington better than USC UCLA, because I think Washington fits the Big Ten well with their gritty style of play and their Samoans, and Oregon just has sweet uniforms. So I think that's awesome.
Certainly doesn't hurt to have him. I'd rather
Evan
the
made a
Big
good
Ten
point.
did this and not fall behind. So
Yes, Evan made a great
I'm glad
point
we're
about-
in the conference that is like.
I mean, there's other teams I wish we could have instead.
I wish we would
like-
just like cut Rutgers and Maryland, but are we allowed to do that?
Like geographically closer, I wish there was
No.
other teams we could get. But I mean, I get why you're
Clemson.
doing it. They reached out and you just approved. You got the Pacific Northwest, and you have LA markets now.
The
So-
travel logistics for the players just has to be a nightmare, but they'll have fun with that.
If you had to pick 2 teams to make it 20 teams, who would you pick?
2 more.
Yeah, to round this thing out to 20 teams.
I mean, it depends on
Clemson
what
and
conference
Notre
goes
Dame.
under. Who'd you say, Alex?
Clemson and Notre Dame. Notre Dame's losers for not being in the Big Ten. I'd love to beat them every year.
I don't want
See, I
Notre
would pick
Dame
Notre
in my
Dame for
conference
sure.
because I think they're a bunch of losers, and I don't want
I
them near
want
us.
them just so we can spank them all the time.
Give them a noogie.
Give him a wedgie. Give him a swirly.
I just think Clemson's
Um,
sweet, but we'd lose to them all the time. That
I would
be
love to
very
have
disappointing.
Pitt, Notre Dame,
I don't need
Pitt and Notre Dame and Boston College.
Pitt,
Don't
West
need
Virginia.
Boston College. Boston College is garbage at athletics.
Nah,
Who's played
hockey.
Boston
Next year.
market?
We'll probably lose
Good
to
hockey.
them.
That was the Boston market.
Yeah, but we don't need the Boston market, Evan. We have all the markets pretty much now.
There's rumors that UConn's going to join the Big 12.
No, they're in the Big East. They can't leave.
Well, there's
That's my
rumors that-
conference.
Well, basketball grant might be different.
They can't go to the Big 12. They don't have football.
I
They
think
do.
two.
They
UConn
do,
does
but
have football.
but
We
not
got
really.
Kenneth Walker from UConn.
No, we didn't.
No. Oh, you're
Yes.
saying the next Kenneth Walker?
The next Kenneth Walker.
You're
Alex
so
is being
stupid.
cute. He's doing that thing again.
Well, I was right about Kenneth Walker, so
No, you didn't. You didn't say he was going to be.
I'm right about AJ Hogard. I mean, I'm not yet, but you're gonna see
He
it.
has to win AP Player of the Year this
The
year.
buzz
It's
is
crazy.
growing.
That
You guys
Joe
are
Valentine.
so late to this train. The train left 3 years ago.
He's not winning
You
AP
and,
Player of the Year.
You and Brad V are on the train. Everyone else is off.
Brad sent me that tweet, and he's like, "No one knows. No one gets
That was
it."
what I was watching last night.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. I was actually stunned by his jumper.
Till you get him into a game and he doesn't have a jumper anymore.
Just watch the Kansas State highlights, and you'll be like, "Wow, I'm glad that guy is on my team."
I don't think
As we
he-
said
Can't
last
play
night,
defense.
he was start
Can't
for any
play
team in the
defense.
country. Yes, he can.
He was though. Alex, he gave up the alley-oop. That was his man.
Your thing is going crazy.
I'm not doing anything. I'm not touching anything.
It's gone now. You're good.
It's gone. He'd start for any team in the country.
Alex, can you think of the one negative of Oregon joining the Big Ten that Evan pointed out? That is a very good point.
You guys talked
Mm.
about this morning after I left.
We did.
No,
Yeah,
I stayed
we'll-
until 11 o'clock.
Conference
Let's
alignment
just talk
discussion.
ball.
Yes.
One thing that Oregon it's bad for us.
Bad.
Their horrendous
Like,
basketball court.
boom. Nailed it. Yeah,
God, that thing is awful. I
that's
don't
a
want to
problem.
see that ever.
That's a problem for
The
us.
school tried to poach Tom Izzo, and now we're buddies with him.
What?
Oregon did try to take Tom Izzo.
Really?
Oregon tried to take Tom
They offered
Izzo.
him ownership in Nike.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know about that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Tom
Um,
got offered double his salary to go to the Atlanta Hawks, and he said no.
That was in 2000.
Yeah. Right after
He also got offered the Cleveland job, too,
Yeah. Hot
when LeBron
commodity
James
Tom
was
Izzo.
still there.
Yeah. Izzo and LeBron would not get along.
LeBron would have killed Tom Izzo's career because he's such a bad human being.
He's a good human, just a cornball.
that was spicy. Evan. Let's spend about 10 minutes each. We can talk more college football, but we've already gone an hour and 10 minutes. Let's do 10 minutes each to each team. Would you guys like to start, or do you want to do Michigan first?
I want you to ask hard-hitting questions right off the jump that you have.
6-6, Grant. We're not that good. 6-6.
Well, wow.
Well, we can
Let's
say
just
predictions
not
for
even
later.
remotely get to that.
Let's talk about some
That's
players.
hard hitting questions.
All right, so we'll do Michigan State first, and you can ask some questions about Michigan. Is that how you want to do it?
Yeah.
Michigan State, my questions for you are...
We're talking offense only, right?
We're talking about offense. Is this year's offensive line going to be worth a shit?
Yes. Are we supposed to give reasoning, or are we
Like
just
a-
going yes or no?
Like a top, you can give reason, like a top 5 unit in the Big Ten type worth?
I think they should be on that cusp, if not in that top 5. Yes.
Because I know
Guys
that
are in. The
there's a clear-
size is there. There's enough guys now. Yes, they should be good. I'm pretty confident saying they should be good.
that would be really impressive. There's already 3 that will be better in Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State.
Yeah, I
You
think
always
we
think
can
that
easily
Wisconsin
swap
will be
into
good.
like 4 or 5.
Iowa
Illinois
could
will
be.
be Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois is some big boys. I think
Like
we
that
can
better
hover around
coaching.
that 5 spot. Well, we have a good offensive line coach. Is the
There's
reason.
also a battle. No, we don't. There's also a battle of nutrition.
No, we don't.
That was a quick no.
So-
we don't.
Last
We
year,
do.
we did have a lot of guys start, so they have experience this year. It's just finding the right lineup that are going to stick. We have 2 5-year
Yes, they'll be good.
starters.
Confident saying that. Evan says our offensive line coach is bad. I think he's one of the better ones out there.
Just out there, just existing.
Well, it doesn't help our play
He-
calling so bad.
Tries to get. He's been attempted to be poached every year, so by big programs.
They can have them.
I don't know why you
Fine.
don't like him, Evan. But he's dealing with 4th stringers because everyone's injured all the time. What do you want him to do? Our offensive line wasn't that bad last year.
Let's go to the running back room. So I'm looking at last year. Jalen Berger's back.
That's
Yep.
it.
That's it. Collins and Broussard are gone.
Yeah.
Berger had 148 carries last year, and Elijah Collins had 70, and Broussard had 63. So they combined for 133. Berger had 148. How do we envision the split this year between Berger and Carter?
And Mangum.
Who's that? He's a
He's
running back.
Another running back, yeah.
Transfer from Colorado.
South
Wasn't
Florida.
Oh, okay.
He did
How do
play
we envision
Colorado
that
under
kind of
Mel
split?
Tucker.
Is Berger
He's
the
like a
feature back?
gold. No. Carter is.
Carter's. You're thinking he's
No,
the feature
Berger
back.
is.
Evan
I
thinks
think
Berger.
Carter
Embrace
takes
debate.
the first snap of the year.
That doesn't. Evan, or Alex.
I think
that's not-
Carter will take the most percentage of the carries. I think Berger will be used a lot, and he'll be more in the passing game. And I think Mangum will be our goal line pounding ground guy.
Do we have a 1,000-yard rusher on the team? Did you guys hear me?
I heard
Yeah.
you. I'm just thinking
Oh.
about it.
Oh, deep
It's
thought.
tough to know what the carries like. Is someone going to?
How much did Berger have last year? 7 something?
He had 683 yards.
No,
on
we don't have a
140.
1,000-yard rusher.
Okay.
I say we'll have a 900. I don't think we'll get to 1,000.
100, I don't think. Okay. Berger caught 19 passes last year. Do we think he's going to catch more than that? I feel like Michigan State's running backs recently haven't been huge in the passing game.
We're not a
Even when we had our best running back in our life, he barely caught any passes. I don't see how it will change this one year. We'll be like, you know what, we're going to throw to the running backs this year. I don't understand how it's
I think Berger will have that many receptions again. Maybe a couple more, but nothing crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We're just not a pass to the back team. Pro style offense,
which is stupid.
That much. I mean, you should. It's a good weapon to have, but
you should probably do it more because you have a brand new starting quarterback,
and maybe they will.
And you're gonna have to get like fancy with scheme wise. You can't throw jump balls anymore because our most talented wide receiver is gone,
and the jump balls.
Veteran quarterback is gone
30% of the time, anyways.
So Alex, you don't. So your Carter Kenneth Walker buzz is a little like hyperbole because you don't think you're going to have 1,000-yard rusher.
I don't think Carter is Kenneth Walker. That would be absurd.
Well, I think he fed it a few times in passing.
I think he's an upgrade over Berger, and personally, I like Berger. I think he's a good running back too, and I think the offensive line will be improved, so the run game will be improved.
All right.
I think we have more depth at the position.
Let's hop to the wideout room, shall we? Just to set the stage from last year, we have Keon Coleman leaving. He was 58 catches for 800 yards. Reed had 55 catches for 636 yards, so kind of around the same receptions. And then Trey Mosley, who will be stepping up this year, 35 catches for 359 yards. Who are some other names that we need to know about for this season?
Alex, go first.
I was letting you go.
Antonio Gates Jr.
Antonio Gates Jr. Will he be a sophomore?
I don't think he'll play at all.
Oh, wow. You guys are not aligned on this football team right now.
No, we're not.
Which is typically, historically the case. No, I
just don't think he will.
Because who's playing in front of him?
No, you finish, and then I'll go.
No, I finished because you jumped the gun. So go ahead.
I just said I didn't think he'd play.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the starters will be Mosley, Foster, and then the third spot's available, depending on what you want to do, outside or inside guy. I think Mosley will still play in the slot a lot. I don't think he'll be outside. And I think Fitzpatrick, who's barely ever played, will play a decent amount. And I think the transfer from Nebraska will play a lot, Alante Brown. And then for like a sophomore, redshirt freshman guy of that group, because there's like 5 of them that Gates is in, I think Henry will play. I don't think Gates will play much. Because Henry will play on special teams as well.
Well, we're talking offense, Alex, only.
Yeah, I think Henry has a chance to be like the 5th receiver.
Deep on the depth chart.
Yeah.
Evan, is there any of the group that you feel like is going to have a breakout season per se, or do you think it's going to be like production by a committee as opposed to like 1 or 2 guys?
It's going to have to be production by a committee because I don't see how we have like our talent's completely dropped off. Skill wise, that it's going to have to be by committee. I don't think there's going to be somebody that's going to be like have like 70 catches and everybody else has 20. I think everyone's going to be hovering around like 30, some catches 40. Trey Mosley might get up there near 50. He should be the leader. But also like we utilize the tight ends a lot and they're a big part of the offensive philosophy that I think a lot of like Carr will take up a good chunk of targets.
So you're on.
Just because we have so many damn tight ends on roster, like you have to start utilizing them in something on your offense other than just like an extra outside zone run blocker when he's supposed to clear the edge, and it just doesn't work.
You're on the Malik Carr hype train like Alex, because Alex was telling me how much of a weapon this guy's going to be.
I just don't know how, Grant, you can watch his film from last year anytime he caught the ball. Like, he is absolutely a weapon. Can he block? No.
But can he catch footballs and make plays? Yes.
Is he like second leading receiver type potential
No.
for this team?
Yes.
Okay.
He will.
I don't
be
think he
the
will
second
be.
lead.
He has the potential to. I don't.
No,
think
he will be the second leading reception.
We got to
Yeah,
know
I
what
like
our
that.
Because
quarterback
once again, you have a new
preference is.
you have a new quarterback. It's easier to dump it down to your tight end rather than trying to throw a 10-yard
So your
pitch out
pass-
to an outside wide receiver with no experience.
You're looking at Mosley and Carr as two guys, pass catchers, are going to be seeing most of the rock. All right.
Yes.
I think Foster's better than people think, and will be pretty good. I don't think
Sleeping
he's like
on-
crazy like Jaden Reed or anything like that, but I think he's pretty good.
Don't sleep
He's
on
fast.
Foster. All right. That kind of covered tight ends. We can really get into the nitty gritty of the quarterback room. My only question that I want to know from you guys is you have to start someone tomorrow or next Saturday. Who do you want to roll with and why?
Well, Evan,
Well, I already know who the starting quarterback's going to be.
that's not the question.
Well, geez, Evan. Who's it going to be then?
The question was
If
who
you-
you want to start
Who do I want to start is Kane Hauser.
and why.
Who is starting?
Noah Kim's going to start.
How do you know that?
The way that Mel Tucker talked about Noah Kim during the Big Ten pressers, there's a difference between when you have knowledge about one kid and who he knows is going to be the starting quarterback to know who he knows the backup's going to be.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And I get it's open competition, but when you talk way more about one kid than the other kid, it's kind of written in the sand.
I would agree. I think the competition is genuinely open, but like with an asterisk that Kim's leading. Who would I start? We haven't seen anything from either of them in a real meaningful football game, so I don't have no idea who's better.
And Grant, anytime somebody brings up like the Akron game about Noah Kim, you have my honor and my whatever you want to call it, that you can
Blessing.
punch him in the face. Yes.
Okay.
Because that game doesn't matter.
I just said neither.
Noah
of
Kim
them
came in
ever
when Peyton
played
Thorne got injured
meaningful.
for like a drive. Correct. I'm with you, Alex, but a lot of people just bring up his stats against Akron.
He looked okay against Ohio State's second unit, which their second unit is probably better than our team. So that,
I do
that's
remember
When we were walking
Yeah.
out of the stadium already, Alex.
the other week.
something. I made
When
Grant
I was
watch
at
it.
Alex's, he was pulling up like deep on YouTube, like Noah Kim, like all his snaps. And it's like you're looking at the sample size, and like you said, Evan,
Agreed.
It's, like,
It's hard to
backups against
find
Ohio
anything.
State.
You don't know anything.
But
I think
that's what
our
the
third
class-
string quarterback might have the most talent, but he will not play a snap.
Because I would pick
Love it.
Hauser because he got recruited by this coaching staff. It was their guy. Kim was still a D'Antonio recruit. And why would you, now that a 5th-year, 6-year starter transferred, why wouldn't you go with your guy and have more years to build with him than rather having a 1-year, 2-year piece?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, they still want to win as many games as they can, and they'll just pick the guy that does that.
Well, the talent on offense is not going to win that many games.
We'll find out.
Not always.
We
Alex.
know this
There's-
already, Alex.
Agreed, not always, Grant, but I think this staff will do that. In this scenario, if Kim is starting, I think that'd be strictly because they want to win football games.
Jay Johnson still calling the plays?
Yes,
I believe
double
he
J.
is.
Oh,
J squared.
Bummer.
Counter on 4th and 1. Stat line for Kim.
Outside zone
predicting
in the first play of the
quarterbacks.
game.
I think Kim and Hauser will both play a lot of snaps the first 2 games.
I would love it if they split.
Similar to
50-50.
JJ Cade, like they should do that the first 2 games.
I would love it if they
Give him
split
give him a
50-50.
whole game is what they did.
Well, that's a
Each guy
little
game.
crazy. I wouldn't do that.
It was fun though. I remember those weeks. Those were awesome to watch.
Cade was
Dissect.
horrendous, and JJ was good. So it was pretty.
I would
easy
alternate
decision.
their drives.
But then the questions would be, oh, they can't get in a rhythm.
Yes, agreed. I would say that to Evan as a
Well,
coach. I would say
maintain
no
your
rhythm.
drive, and that's your rhythm.
I need a
Noah
rhythm,
Kim
though,
came in last year on
anything.
his mop-up duty, and he sustained some drives.
Regardless of the outcome of those drives, I would alternate. I would tell them you're alternating because you're trying out. Because the real game is September 21st.
Would you let Levitt get some snaps in a 28-0 at halftime against?
No, not until
Central?
the fourth quarter.
You wouldn't just fling him out there and see if he's good?
No, because you need to find your starting quarterback between Hauser and unless Levitt is in the conversation.
Well, the rumor is that Mel Tucker promised him a shot at the starting job when they recruited him. And that's one of the reasons he came here. But they do that everywhere. Every guy's
That's just like,
promised
yeah,
that.
like you can compete in practice.
It's an
Have
open
fun,
competition.
See how you do it.
As
got
nobody's
talent.
guaranteed to start.
But
Nobody's
I'm
guaranteed
sure
a
he
starting
knows
spot.
he probably knows 4 plays out of 1,000.
All right, let's get down to the nitty gritty here.
You think Jay
Peyton
Johnson
Thorne's
has
stat
1,000?
line
Yes.
last year was 63% completion percentage, 2,679 yards, 19 touchdowns, 11 picks. What are we thinking for whoever the starting quarterback is for this team? Are we thinking about 3,000 yards? Are we thinking 65 completion percentage? Are we thinking?
Can you give me Peyton Thorne's the season before?
We'll
Yeah,
be
sure
lucky
can,
to get
Alex.
2,500 passing yards.
Wow, that would be
It's
tough
gonna
for
be-
the team.
It's gonna be grim. It's gonna be a grim offense.
In 2021, Peyton Thorne had 60% completion percentage, so it went down, but he had 3,232 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 10 picks.
All right. I think
What the
2,800
season
yards, 20 plus touchdowns.
20 touchdowns.
I mean, really, I think 20, but I just threw the plus in there.
Nice.
And then-
Just to give it a
He's
little
not
bit of
getting
room.
20.
Under 10 interceptions, so 9.
Wow.
That's what I want.
Oh,
And that's what I think is the best case. Like, I don't think it can get much better than that. Like, we're not going to watch a Trevor Lawrence walk in and throw 45 touchdowns and 5,000 yards. That's not happening.
there's 14 teams in the Big Ten, right? Right now, about to be 18 next year. Evan, question for you. You can do stats if you want, but also I like to think of the conference. Do we think when at the end of the year, for whoever Michigan State's quarterback is, Noah Kim, whoever, that will say he is the 7th quarterback in the Big Ten or better? Will he be top half of the conference or will he be bottom half of the conference? That's a tough question, I think. I think it's very close. Probably bottom half.
Stat wise or
I
bias wise?
Just I guess, would you want to
Just
have this
eye
guy in
test?
your-
Just
like
eye test?
would you take that quarterback over there over your guy? Yes or no? Like, and you
Okay.
look at the Big Ten by the end of the year. 'Cause
Way
going in,
below.
we have no idea.
Way below.
Oh no! Like
Like 12 to 14.
10th quarterback in the Big Ten?
He's better than whoever Northwestern is going to run out there.
Check.
Rutgers,
Better than Rutgers and better than Indiana.
Indiana,
That's it. There's only 3.
Oh no!
Illinois doesn't have a quarterback. Cade, we've all seen him. High floor, low ceiling.
Cade's better than Noah Kim.
We don't know yet.
No,
I
we
agree.
actually do.
I
Cade
agree based
won
on
the
right
Big Ten
now.
championship.
Right
We'll
now,
see.
yes. Right now, he's better. He was on a
By
great
end of the
start.
year, I think Cade will do okay there. I think end of the year, Cade will still be better, but you never know what's going to happen.
Cade's still going to be better.
Whoever's our starter,
Our starting quarterback's going to throw for 2,300 yards, have 13 touchdowns, and 8 picks.
that is wow. You're
And we will be
always so
bottom 3 in
positive
all
about it.
offensive categories
Only 8 picks though.
because we
Look,
can't
you
stay on the field
Go
to throw
3 and
more.
out. It sounds like every time.
Evan loves Peyton Thorne, and this is on brand, and I appreciate it.
It is.
He's
I
digging in.
think that whoever our quarterback. What if Grant Kim plays 4 games, gets benched, Hauser comes in, and he's good? Like, is that enough games to put him in this tier ranking?
Yeah, you would just be like, oh yeah, what I saw.
I'd be
from
like,
him, I
Kim
would
was
take him.
garbage, and then Hauser was good. Like, that's how my thing would go. I think
Yeah.
whoever the quarterback that plays the most of the games will be in like the 6 to 10 range. More like 6. to
6?
8. That's like ceiling 6, floor
There's no way,
10.
dude. 6?
6 to 10.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
There's
Good
a
for
lot
you,
of new
man.
quarterbacks. I mean, that's.
I mean, it's
you
not
have to
it's not
win.
impossible at all. Peyton Thorne was never viewed to be good, and we put him in fucking top 4 at one point, and then he sucked.
We know there's a top 4 between the Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, and then
You're putting
Colorado.
Drew Alar in there, who's played 3 snaps, auto top 5.
Yeah, I guess yes, I am.
So a
And
guy
that's what
that
we're
also
seeing.
has never played.
Well, I just heard great things, Alex.
Well, if you
He's
ask
actually
Cam
played
and
meaningful
Cody,
snaps in the Purdue game.
Cam and Cody, longtime listeners, said that he's the worst quarterback they've ever seen.
Did they watch Sean Clifford?
Worse than John O'Corn.
They saw him against Michigan.
Go back and watch
This
that
guy
John O'Corn
stinks.
Michigan State game like I did this week. Holy cow.
Personally, I do think Drew Lart will be good, but I just didn't know we were auto-naming him in the
Tualia.
top 4, and he's never played.
Tulia's
Yeah,
Top
I
4.
had him in my top 5.
Hudson Card's going to be top 4.
Who's he
No,
play for?
I don't
For
think he's
Purdue.
that good.
They're
Played
going
well,
to
they run an
Evans-
air-
At Texas.
Evan
and you
told
thought
me
he
they're
was
going
Alex,
air
they
raid.
run an air raid offense under Purdue, under Graham Harrell.
Yep. It's
He's gonna
changing
have
the game.
gaudy
Well, he'll have
stats.
good stats. That doesn't mean like he's sweet. He might throw 30 interceptions.
And 55
That would be
touchdowns.
insane if he threw 30 picks, Alex.
Jameis, 30 touchdowns, 30 picks.
Never forget. One of the best seasons in NFL history. 30 for 30.
I think the ceiling is 6.
No
Floor is
way.
10. If it's
Ceiling's
Hauser,
8.
the ceiling's like we end the season, we're like maybe he's in the top 4.
Look, I enjoyed this session. I feel like I know more about Michigan State football. But it's
We have to move on to Michigan.
I'm ready for my questions.
All right, lay it on me, baby.
What running back will have more yards? Donovan Edwards or Blake Corum?
Combined or
Rushing.
And what running back should have more yards?
What should Donovan Edwards get 95% of the carries? Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm bullish on Blake Corum still. I think. Well, unless his like knee looks
Answer the
different.
question.
Was who will have more? Blake
This
Corum
is a
will
court.
have.
Answer the question. Who will have more
Blake
rushing
Corum.
yards? Blake Corum or Donovan Edwards? I'm writing this down and I will bring them back to you.
Blake Corum will have more rushing yards this year.
Will Michigan have
Do you think he
1,000-yard receiver?
deserves? Do you think he deserves that more
Deserve
rushing
it?
yards?
Yeah, no, I think I do think like Donovan Edwards is so tantalizing of a talent.
He's really good.
Blake Corum is really good.
They're both really good. That's why it's a question.
But somebody is better than the other, and it's clearly an easy.
Well, one is bigger and more athletic.
Bigger,
it's
faster,
hard to-
stronger, younger, has better knees, while the other one is
I gotta turn my NFL brain off because long term, sure, Donovan should have a better NFL career. Although running backs aren't getting paid anymore, but I think Blake Corum. No, I think
Corum.
he
Good guy.
did. He brings something to the table, especially like in the intermediate, like home run hitter. It's Donovan Edwards easy, but like for those 7-yard runs where you gotta make a few guys miss in the hole, Blake Corum's better at that, no doubt.
Even though Blake Corum dropped that pass against Michigan State and lost them the game.
Receiving, it is not even close. Donovan Edwards is basically.
I was going to ask a receiving question, but it was too obvious. Will Michigan have its first 1,000-yard receiver in like 12 years?
No.
Not even close. What are give me 2 receivers that I should keep my eye on this year? Are there any receivers that I should be like, oh man, I'm nervous for them?
Well, the wild card that I really, really want to see play a lot, I just don't know. Like when it comes to wide receivers, you don't know if they're good blockers. You don't know if they have good character. There's a
No
reason
block, no
why.
rock.
Right. But if this guy is what I think he can be, Darius Clemens should be exciting this year to watch. He's a high level recruit, has a crazy high school recruiting tape. He had a touchdown in the spring game as a freshman. I don't know what he did this year. I don't know where he's at in the depth chart because Harbaugh and the coaches and staffs likes to reward the veteran guys. A more obvious answer, I thought we saw really good stuff from Roman Wilson in the game against TCU. I think he could have a big season if they start airing it out downfield more.
I just view him as like a scat slot guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you look like,
I'm talking like scary Keon Coleman, Moss, and people like
no, I think the biggest
can win you a game.
I think the biggest X factor in the receiving game for this team is Donovan Edwards, and I think the tight end Colston Loveland is going to be really, really good. I think he's going to be one of the best. I think he's going to be one of the best tight ends that I've seen play for Michigan this year.
So my next question was, can Michigan replace the production at tight end with Schoonmaker gone?
Receiving, yes. Blocking, no. I don't think Loveland will be as good of a blocker as Schoonmaker, which could hurt them overall.
Do they have the depth at tight end? Because they had a lot of depth at tight end the last few years.
The kid from Indiana, I don't know if you guys remember him playing. He had a couple catches against him, against Michigan. He impressed me when we played him, and people have said he's done well in practice. So I do think he's going to be a nice counteract to Loveland. I think they'll be okay.
One freshman that can make an impact on offense.
On
If there's one.
offense, yeah, I don't think there's going to be one. I think that the whole team's too old. There's not going to be anybody on offense. But I will double check the
No.
depth chart real quick just to make sure.
Try not to have your blue shades on for this question.
Okay.
How good at the end of this season, where will JJ McCarthy rank in Michigan QB lore?
Like in my life?
Yeah.
Second.
How is like, I mean, you guys view him as God. So
Shit, he can be first because
if he wins,
It's
a
hard,
national
like-
championship.
It's
he's
hard,
the-
like,
it's going to be like the greatest Michigan quarterback ever.
it depends on like team success. And I was a little young for Henny, but Henny really could zip the rock. McCarthy has the most talent since Henny, easily, of anyone I've seen in the uniform, because they just haven't had good quarterbacks. So it's not saying a ton, but
He has a lot
He's
of
a-
talent.
you've also seen him picking up a lot of buzz from NFL scouts that are doing their early scouting, like, oh, this guy actually is pretty good. He has to stop doing those circus plays that almost turn into disaster turnovers for me to feel really good about him and put him into like a
Next
more.
question.
I'm taking all your questions away from you, but yeah, I think if he makes the championship game, he'll be the best quarterback I've ever seen for Michigan. If it's like another repeat, up there with Henny, I would say.
Question for Evan.
a question for Grant.
No, not a question for Grant. This is a question for Evan.
No, I said I had a question for Grant, but go ahead.
And then you ask your question to Grant.
Okay.
When you view Michigan's offense, what do you think the split between run and pass will be this season?
Split. I think it's the same. Jim Harbaugh.
Ground and pound, 80-20, just ground chuck
No, it's
all
going to be
day
80-20.
long.
They went 80-20 last year.
80-20 was a reference to meat in Jerry's Market. 80-20 chuck.
75-25 is the best flavor.
A little fat for Evan.
Like, is Michigan just going to be able to dominate teams with the run all year again and really just not have to
Yes.
sweat about anything until Ohio State?
Yes. Yes.
You're comfortable saying that.
They have one of the best offensive line coaches still in the country.
Who's missing the
Obviously,
first game?
Doesn't matter. You're playing no name on Peacock,
East
so it really
Carolina.
doesn't matter any.
Shut the fuck up, Grant.
And non-conference isn't really that hard.
Not even
So-
remotely hard.
Yeah, they're either true to their identity. They can still be able to do whatever they want against inferior opponents.
So until
then-
Ohio State, Michigan will just run over everybody on their
No,
ground.
because I think they have some tests in the Big Ten conference, like going out to Nebraska. That's probably going to be a primetime game, just because
Nervous about
first
that.
time
rule.
Yeah, but
You were
Minnesota and
nervous.
Nebraska play first week on primetime. But it'd be like Michigan, Nebraska draw like some of the most eyes in the Big Ten conference, so the game will probably be a night game.
Great game 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it was.
Nebraska
was
blew
on
it.
Nebraska game.
Hurley
Adrian Martinez
guy.
fumbled to lose the game.
Forgot he was still playing quarterback at that
He
point.
thought he was ruled dead, and Brad Hawkins punched it out.
Not having your question, Grant.
Sick.
Do you think JJ does try these circus plays to be more sexy and more appealing to the NFL? Did you see some quarterbacks do it in the NFL?
Do you
I don't
think
know.
He has to show off his
rephrase
athleticism.
the question? Do you think JJ's not a team guy and a me guy?
No,
I-
that's not how I'm rephrasing that.
That's how the media would spin that question. Just
So
practice.
it's interesting. I do
Not that
follow
like he like is thinking about like, oh dude, I gotta show off to the NFL, but like just thinking like I am an athlete out here, like I can get away from this and I can make something happen.
No, I definitely think he has that mindset where like it's the
When historically it hasn't gone well for him.
and people are gonna be like, "Oh, Grant, you're doing like clickbait." But remember, like Josh Allen's first NFL years when he did that lateral against the Texans in the playoffs.
that was the
Like,
worst
he
thing I've
fumbled
ever
it.
seen in my life.
There's like a little bit of that with
I
JJ. Where
Don't remember that.
he just like
You gotta look
thinks
that up.
he can be a
Horrendous.
superhero on any play,
Doing it right
and it
now.
hurts him. I don't know if he's like has the NFL in mind. I just think he thinks like he's just that confident in himself to get out of play, which can hurt him. So I'm hoping he reins that in this year. My biggest thing with him is he seems like a very I don't know what the word is, because like there was a stretch where I thought he was just the most like humble team guy, blah, blah, blah. But then he started like talking smack towards the end of last year and it bit him in the butt against TCU with some quotes before the game. And he went like kind of radio silent during the offseason. I'm hoping we just see a more like angry, business-like, no talking JJ. Because remember they showed that quote when we played Michigan State that like I want to humiliate them. I want to beat them by 40. Like I don't need him to say those things. I want him to just do the job. But again, I'm not his dad or coach, so do you. But personally, I would just like to see a more business approach to his game this year. But to be fair to the kid, he's like 20 years old, and he won the quarterback job against a guy who just won the Big Ten, and he didn't lose a game in the regular season, so I understand why he got cocky towards the end of the year. I would be cocky as well. There's no doubt.
I have one final question for you, Grant.
Mm-hmm.
Give me one reason why Michigan's offense could take a step back and be worse this year.
If the transfers in from the offensive line aren't as good as they should be, would be the reason.
Follow up. If JJ were to go down, where does Michigan's floor and ceiling move to?
You're looking at Jack.
Because I don't know who you have.
You're looking at Jack Tuttle from Indiana being your quarterback.
You just took all of Indiana's bad players and put them on your backups.
Yep. Yeah, no, it'd be really bad. I mean, there's no, it's not like
I didn't know if you had like someone there ready in the wings.
No.
So Cade leaving could hurt, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Or Cade, yeah. Is Cade, yeah, he's better than Jack Tuttle, but it's not like he's going to like change. They're still just going to pound the rock and try to do play action. Just JJ. I do think, though, the split between running and passing from what they're trying to say that they're going to do is going to be closer to 50-50, which could be scary in some situations. But you saw against Ohio
I think
State,
if JJ went down, you guys could still easily ground and pound your way through most teams in the Big Ten.
You'd have two games. It'd be two games when if JJ was down, there'd be two games where they wouldn't be favorites anymore. It'd be the Penn State
Michigan, and Ohio State
game.
But you'd look.
But the Ohio State game's at home at Michigan, so you never know.
I don't know if like Ronnie Bell. He's a good player. I just don't know if his absence is going to be felt that much. I think they can make up for it with throwing in more tight ends. And Cornelius did come on towards the end of the year, even though he was bad in the beginning of the year. So the biggest thing that we didn't really cover too much is the thing that runs this offense is the offensive line.
I mean, I thought that was obvious.
It's an insane level
to talk ball,
right? But to give them the ball, the guys like Zach Zinter is going to be a high round pick as a guard. Trevor Keegan, a guard, is a redshirt senior. He's been there so long. If the Nugent kid can be 80% of Oluwatimi,
he was really okay. Good, though.
And then tackles will be interesting. They did lose Stuber, so we'll see tackles. But the Henderson kid from Arizona State is supposed to be good. It just hinges on those. It's a very deep O-line room, but I don't know who the best five are once you get outside the two guards. So we'll see how that works. And plus, there'll be injuries throughout the year, but they're very deep, so it's not going to like fall off a cliff if someone gets hurt. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's important. The kicking situation will be different. They got a good kicker to come in transfer, but you're losing Moody, so
that could be a big problem. As a
punting
team, fan of a team that watched special teams go to absolute dog shit last year. You can easily lose you several games.
Mm-hmm. I believe James Turner is the transfer in. He was good at his last stop. Evan, I want to say UMass. I want to say UMass.
Ooh, that's not a good thing.
No, Louisville. I'm sorry. He came from Louisville.
He went to Saline High School.
Oh. Came from Louisville.
All ACC.
All ACC. That's good.
Honorable mention.
Punting, though, should be improved.
Ooh, not that good. Not that good.
What's the kicking percentage, Alex?
Well, he went 14 of 22 one year.
Oh.
And then
but he went 20 of 22
20 of 22
year.
The following year.
Nice.
Oh. Only 22 attempts.
Only
Moody had 22 attempts in the first three games.
Overall, he's 47 of 59 in his career. 124 of 127 on extra points. So he's missed 3 extra points, which is pretty bad.
Harbaugh has already hyped up the punter. Tommy Doman said it's the most impressive punting leg he's seen at Michigan, which is exciting because Brad Robbins, while good, was better 2 years ago than last season. To the end, he started shanking a lot. Our Michigan group chat would get very upset at that. So hopefully the punting situation is better because Michigan does get in lulls during games, and field possession is still important for the way they play football.
I forgot that we lost the best punter that world's ever seen. So that's very disappointing. And for a team that's going 3 and out every time, like Evan said, that is very sad.
Question for you guys. If a player on Michigan were to win the Heisman Trophy this year, who would it be?
J.J. McCarthy. It's a quarterback.
It's a quarterback. Well, yeah.
I want to have hope for Corum, but I just don't know if it's possible.
Blake Corum going to be able to, Grant, because
he shouldn't get Edwards more than
backfield. There's not enough carries for him.
I am curious the split that they do because last year
bad injury.
He had 247 carries to Donovan Edwards 140.
Holy fuck, you run the ball a lot.
And Blake Corum didn't even play. He played half the Illinois game and didn't play the rest of the season. And he still had over 100 more carries than Donovan Edwards had.
I think it's going to be reverse it. I think Donovan Edwards should get 70 more carries than Blake Corum.
Wow. He said that I don't think that'll happen. I think they're going to use Edwards more like Gibbs then, Jahmyr Gibbs, if they're going to get him involved on the field every time, which I'm fine with.
Watch those Donovan Edwards Ohio State highlights if you get bored.
Well, that's because that defense couldn't stop anything. But yes, Donovan is good for the big plays. Corum will get caught. He had one 50-yarder against Penn State, but that's it. He'll get caught because he's not that fast.
He's quick.
But he's shifty as hell.
Really good guy.
He put Jet Campbell on.
Don't forget he's coming off an injury. He might not be what he was.
The buzz is there. But what are they going to say? His knee looks bad, but the buzz is there. They said
Darius Snow's knee looks bad, and he's not going to play. So,
that's a sad way to wrap it up, Alex.
So he might play this year at some point, but he's not close. He's not practicing with contact or anything.
Well,
thanks, Chester Kimbrough.
Unfortunately, on that note, that's the show for this week. Little taste of college football. Stay tuned for the defensive side of the ball.
20 days. Week 0's in 20 days.
And shout out Michigan State's new uniforms.
Yes. Yeah, we can touch on that next show. I did want to talk about those. And the locker room, too, looked pretty cool. Really cool. Some would say unbelievably cool. Oh. Snob Alex was like, yeah, just okay.
Well, I just was thinking, LSU and all the other ones probably look like that, too. I guess I need to know what the other one looked like before.
Yeah.
I did know what the other one looked like.
No, you do, but I didn't really.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I knew it wasn't great.
It was corny. It was so 2011.
So 2011. All right. Cheers to episode 128 into breaking down college football.
Happy birthday,
Grant.